Hey, welcome to Week 5 of Gridiron Gurus for the Kennebec Journal Morning Sentinel. I'm Travis Lazarzik alongside Bill Stewart. We've reached the halfway point of the season, so we'll talk about some big games here, and we'll start with a big one in the Campbell Conference Class C, Bill, between Winthrop and Maranacook.
Sure, Winthrop is going to be going down to the Ricky Gibson Field of Dreams. This is going to be the first meeting on that field since the dedication night, October 2nd of 2009, when Maranacook dedicated the field in honor of Ricky Gibson III, who had died earlier that year with an aggressive brain tumor. So it was an emotional night, that game. Winthrop ended up winning that one 12-8, and Maranacook coach Joe Emery said this week that was a game that the team certainly remembers, right, especially this year's senior class. So Maranacook comes in 3-1. It's been playing well of late. It is second in the Campbell Conference in points allowed. It has allowed just 22 points this season, and it's averaging about 27. So, and Winthrop comes in struggling a little bit. Had a tough loss to Winslow last week. The Ramblers did open things up with a little bit of a spread offense. Coach Joel Stoneton said, well, that may be something we're going to do again this week. They're sort of evaluating the personnel. But the Ramblers know this is going to be a big test. Their next 4 games, or their final 4 games of the regular season, their opponents are a combined 10-6. So Stoneton said, hey, we're going to have to win at least 2 of these games just to get into the postseason.
Right. Now let's move on to the Pine Tree Conference Class B, where there's a couple games with 4 of the teams that are definitely playoff contenders. We'll start with Waterville playing at Levitt on Saturday night. Waterville's 3-1. Levitt, the 2-time defending conference champions, 4-0, and steamrolling every opponent right now, it seems like. Waterville head coach Frank Knight said the big thing with Levitt is trying to contain quarterback Jordan Hersom, who does so much. You know, he'll run the ball, he'll throw the ball, and he said when he runs the ball, you just got to be able to just fundamentally just tackle him. Don't fall for any fakes or anything. Give him those 3 or 5 yards and hope that you contain and keep him from getting the 30, 40-yard gainers, because that's what kills you, is Levitt's quick strikes. Waterville right now has probably got the best running up game in the league. Last week, Aaron Socher, J.T. Witten, and Racine Wood all ran for over 100 yards in Waterville's win over Morse. The Panthers have a huge ground game right now, led by tackle Nick Margitza. So it'll be interesting to see if the Panthers can grind out some drives and just keep the ball away from Hersom and maybe pull out a win that way.
Sure, and also in the PTCB, Gardner is going to be going up to Hamden for its second big test in as many weeks. Of course, last week the Tigers lost not just the game to Mount Blue, but potentially running back Alonzo Connor. And of course, his status is still uncertain at this point, and whether or not he can go Friday night is going to be a big determination of whether or not the Tigers can bounce back from that tough loss to the Cougars. If he can't go, it's going to be players like Steve Soroyce, Matt Hall, Justin Lovely. They're going to have to get a little bit more involved in the offense, and of course, Dennis Meehan's going to have to, possibly throw a little bit more. But this is going to be a tough test, playing on the turf field. Hamden has a pretty solid team this year as well. So Gardner's going to have its hands full this Friday.
Right. And in the Pine Tree Conference Class A, a big game between old rivals Skowhegan and Lawrence up at Skowhegan's Clark Field. Skowhegan's 2-2. They've played a little better than a lot of people have expected, coming off a tough loss at Lewiston, but the week before that they had a big win over Messalonskee. Lawrence, again, 1 regular season loss in about the last 6 years. They're 4-0 right now and looking to win a few more games and maybe lock up the top seed in the PTCA playoffs.
Should be another great weekend.
Should be. We hope you enjoy whatever game you get to, and we'll see you next week here on Gridiron Gurus.